Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an episode of R.C.W. Top 10. This week, we're going to be counting down the top 10 pay-per-views to feature the most title matches. Yes, one hell of a catchy title. Anyway, so basically, this comes in... It's basically whatever pay-per-view features the most title changes at the event in general. Now, we are only counting something that went under the same name. So, no, Elimination Chamber and Fastlane are not going to count as the same one. And Bragging Rights and Survivor Series are not going to count as the same one. And yes, this is a little bit kind of unfair to some events as they've only ever had one. But I will tell you some other facts about them, like, oh, this is one of the most... this is one of the events with the most title changes, even though it's only ever one. So anyway, let's get to number 10. Coming in at number 10 is Elimination Chamber. Now, technically there's 9 categories, but one of them is broken up, so it's technically 10 categories. So it basically goes from 1 to 10, and there's only 10 different things with all the ties. Anyway, so Elimination Chamber only ever featured one title change. Now, I would actually tell you what that title change is, but I feel as though you R.C.W. Enthusiast might be able to find out, or find someone who knows what title that was. Feel free to go exploring, and if you really can't figure it out, and nobody can find it out, and you're really that interested, I might tell you. But for now, coming in at number 10 is Elimination Chamber with only one title change ever. Coming in at number 9 is the Bragging Rights pay-per-view. Now, this only had one event, so it does stand to reason, but it is pretty low on there even for standards of having one event. It only ever had 3 title changes. Now, for those of you that might follow this, that is the R.C.W., the World Heavyweight, and one other championship. So, yeah, that is Bragging Rights with only 3 title changes, coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is SummerSlam. Now, the reason that this is so low is technically I was going to count it as one event. But since they were all inaugural championships, I didn't actually count the first event, except for one, the Hardcore Championship, which at the time was a lot more prestigious than it is now. So technically I could have counted it, but I am not generally counting Hardcore beyond that point because, well, this was when Hardcore was only defended like once a week and was actually kind of, like Cruiserweight or something like that. And then it transitioned. So essentially 1 at the first event and 3 at the second event. Let's see if you, R.C.W. knowledge people, can figure out which 3 titles switched hands at the second SummerSlam. That is SummerSlam with 4 title changes, coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a 4-way tie between Royal Rumble with 5 title changes, meaning that they had 2 events and divided amongst the few had only 5 title changes, which is kind of low, which means it would probably have to be about 2 and 3 per event. Doesn't seem that high, but, if you can figure out how that's divided up, it might seem a bit more impressive. You never know. Fastlane, only one event Fastlane has ever existed, and that was 5 title changes. Payback, only one has existed, and there's 5. And Survivor Series, only one of them has existed, and there was 5. So, I mean, it's debatable that I could have put, Royal Rumble below that, but they're all tied at 5. And so, that is... Royal Rumble, Fastlane, Payback, and Survivor Series coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is a 3-way tie between 3 people with 6 title changes. Yes, 6, 6, and 6. Awkward moment when you realize. Anyway, these people, or these events that had 6 title changes were King of the Ring, which has only ever had 1. Money in the Bank, which has only ever had 1. And also tied at number 6 in this situation, might surprise you what it is. It is WrestleMania. As WrestleMania may be maybe the biggest event of the year, the most anticipated, that doesn't mean for certain that it will have the most amount of title changes. WrestleMania itself has only ever had 6 title changes. So that is WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, and King of the Ring coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, Extreme Rules with 6. Now, the reason I say Extreme Rules with 6 is because it's tomorrow, and that number could drastically jump. With 6 title changes at the inaugural Extreme Rules event. It's quite possible that we could see a repeat of this with a lot of tough opponents for championships. We could see this thing jump to 12 championships, which would actually put it at the top of the list. A little bit of a spoiler, but you don't know the order. Anyway, so that's Extreme Rules with a potentially higher than 6 coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is TLC. Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, R.C.W's, well, one of a very famous known event because of the start of the R.C.W. title reign. It has actually had 7 title changes in its history before. Now, a lot of those happened at the first and second event, quite equally divided, meaning that it was roughly 3, 4, maybe 5 and 2 title changes per event. So it was pretty evened out, but still, TLC with the R.C.W. titles, the World Heavyweight titles, the Intercontinentals, all those switching hands at TLC with 7 title switches. Coming in at number 3 is Hell in a Cell with a steady 4-4, I do believe is what it came out to, with RCW's World Heavyweights, Road WWEs, and so pretty much every single championship has switched hands at a Hell in a Cell event. Now this event, well, actually, now that I think about it, I think, quite honestly in saying, the Divas and Cruiserweight might be the only titles that have never switched hands properly at at Hell in a Cell. So this cage-based event has actually had the title switches of many, including a kind of double main event with Flames and Kids happening twice for the Intercontinental and RCW titles, Brooke winning World Heavyweight, Mam winning Raw WWE, and so many things. And it was actually like the breakout pay-per-view of Rabbit, I do believe. So there's so many things that have happened at Hell in a Cell, including 8 separate title changes. Coming in at number 2 is Road to WrestleMania. Road to WrestleMania has had 9 separate title changes. Now this also includes the breakouts of Brooke and Eddie, both winning the Raw WWE and World Heavyweight Championship. This includes the debut of the Raw WWE and the World Tag Team Championships. So many things happened at Road to WrestleMania, including many important title switches in the first and second event. Pretty well every single title has switched hands at a Road to WrestleMania. I apologize, sort of hiccups there. So, I challenge you to see if there is a title that you think has not switched hands at Road to WrestleMania, and I will try my best to get back to you to reply if it's happened or not. Anyway, that's Road to WrestleMania with 9 title switches at number 2. Coming in at number 1 is Night of Champions. Now, this might kind of sound cliche because Night of Champions, the most championship switches, but this event, in its 2 times of occurring, has had 11 separate title switches. Yes, 11 separate title switches. Meaning that it could be 5 on the first, 6 on the second, 7 on the first, 4 on the second. It could be any combination, but regardless, there has been 7 title switches. That includes pretty well every championship from the RCW, the World Heavyweight, the Raw WWE, the United States, the Intercontinental. I don't think I could probably, oh my god, what a word. Anyway, I don't think I probably could name a championship that has not switched hands at Night of Champions. So, Night of Champions is also coming up this September, and it's quite possible that that number could jump, could double, who knows. It's also the event in which the Cruiserweights and European Championships came into existence, with them being, introduced, and it's quite possible that this year, for the 3rd year in a row, RCW will release a new championship at Night of Champions. Thank you, RCW, for checking out this episode of RCW Top 10. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you learned something. We hope you still have stuff to learn. Anyway, tomorrow is Extreme Rules, and if the Top 10 is a bit late, I apologize. Ideas are a lot harder to come up with than they were, but we could just start redoing lists, like revamping them, but the longer we hold that off, the better the list will be. Anyway, so yeah, we hope you learned, how many title switches have happened in the events. Remember, tomorrow's Extreme Rules, so this list will literally change tomorrow, unless it'll be the first pay-per-view never to feature a title change. Dun dun dun. Which is actually a quite possible scenario, so I'd love to see what happens. Extreme Rules is tomorrow. It'll be the first ever RCW promoted and presented Extreme Rules. So make sure you watch it. Make sure you're there at 6 o'clock p.m. EST. It's going to be good. We're going to see Madman take on Kids. We're going to see Y3 in his rematch clause against Brooke. No rematch clauses are not a guarantee. It's the situation. Creative K4L versus Eddie for the Raw WWE Championship. The United States going on the line between Pretty Boy and Muddy. The Intercontinental Stone Cold Noob Austin versus Dean Ambrose Kendall. Well, that really botched there. Anyway, so make sure you check it out. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure to check out daily content on the R.C.W. network from Sunday through to Saturday, and pay-per-views every single pay-per-views every single week. No, top 10s every single weekend, and 2 on pay-per-view weekends. I'm Kids Rock 4 at the studio. What's up? That seriously looks like an ice cream sandwich, like a gray ice cream sandwich on the side. Anyway, and I approve this message. Holy crap.